Greetings, valued pull listeners, and welcome to episode 120 of the Pull List Podcast, your bi-monthly comics podcast on pop culture, comic book news, faith, and all the things they connect together. I'm your host for today, Hector Miray, and generously joining us today is the next gen nerd himself, CJ Burroughs.
What's up, my nerds? Glad to be on here with you guys.
CJ is going to be holding it down with us for a while, and really glad to have him, and to have his voice and his ideas and stuff jumping on with us. So we're gonna keep it fresh and entertaining, as
There you
much
go.
as two tired old pastors can be.
Listen, when I told somebody that I was doing this, and they're like, "Perfect, something else for your plate." I go, "Shut up! I'm so looking forward to this. I'm so excited." It is not a task; it is a pleasure. So excited to be on here with you and talk about comics and Jesus.
Yay, Jesus and comics.
Better put the word out. Get ready for the nerd out. Better put specs on. Better break necks on. I cut handsome checks for my expansion sets. They call me Obi-Wan. Act like you know me, son.
If you haven't listened to us before, you can check out more past episodes on the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network, or you can find us on the Love Thy Nerd YouTube for the pull list. It's YouTube, Love Thy Nerd pull list. You can find us on the Glue Network with the Pull List Podcast and Love Thy Nerd. Lots of places you can check it out. But you can move forward from this. Read your comics, share your ideas. We'd love to hear it as we go through reading these funny books together. So, a little bit of news as we jump into just talking comics. Invincible Season 4. Are you an Invincible fan, CJ?
I am. I am. I had stayed away because I knew what the content was there, and then my wife and we use VidAngel, which can pull a bunch of that stuff out. And so then I was like, and now I'm in, and I watched the first three seasons, I think, in 13 days. Like, it was like, yes, that's all I want to do.
How much violence does it pull out? Because I figure that's a large portion of content.
You can it goes way down to the nitty gritty, and mine was more the romantic content, right? Like, I don't care. You want to see some blood? Like, I don't care. That doesn't bother me. But I was wanting to pull that and some of the language. Like, that was really kind of more of what I'm trying to pull out. But no, I mean, I can take a look and see while we're talking, while you're sharing the news. I'll look and see what the filters look like on an Invincible episode.
So did you get the like the train scene? Like where
Yes.
he held him through. Okay, cool. Good talk. All right, but Invincible Season 4 is officially dropping on Prime on March 18th. Um,
Ooh.
so if you're ready to enter the world of Viltrumite, and there's somebody that's kind of famous to the lore, Thag, I believe, or Trag Thag, being voiced by Lee Pace, who was Ronan the Accuser. And Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out March 18th. There's one little bit of comics news. And also from Webtoons, one of the biggest Webtoons of all time was Lore Olympus. And Lore Olympus has been licensed for years now to make a content with it, but hasn't seen a lot of traction. But there's officially a adult animated series of Lore Olympus coming to Prime Video. So the same people that bring us Invincible are going to be bringing us the romantic escapades of Hades and Persephone. So are you familiar with Lore Olympus?
No, I mean, I'm very familiar with Greek mythology. I'm a
Yeah,
super Greek
yeah,
mythology nerd. My wife and I actually just finished Chaos. It came out like a year ago.
yeah.
And so that was going like, oh, this is what they're trying to do with that story. That's interesting. But no, I'm not, but I'm down. I'm excited. I like good Greek mythology.
So if you have the bandwidth and you care to do this, you can read all of Lore Olympus for free on the Webtoon app. But it's like there's enough Lore Olympus that if I'm not mistaken, it fills four omnibus size
Jeez.
hardbacks.
Okay.
And they like I'm talking like Harry Potter book 6 omnibus size hardback comics, but it went for years and years and years of being like weekly, a few panels at a time
Mm.
of the relationship between Hades, Persephone, and those things. And it's a really good story and how they portrayed it. And they also deal with a lot of hard topics and stuff within it, within that realm. But it's an entertaining version of it. But it's what it's the reason Webtoon still exists.
Okay.
If that book had not taken off for Webtoon, I'm not sure Webtoon would still be afloat. Um,
All right.
but it was their flagship, and there's been stuff of live action considered coming, animation, things like that that are happening. So, it's officially coming for Prime. You had some comics news that you had for us, right?
Yeah. Also, I just looked. There are 65 filters, violence alone, for the first episode of season one on Invincible. So, like, you can remove everything from man crushes a creature's head with a heavy weapon. His brains and eyeballs are seen. Like, you can like pull all those things out. And but I did not. I enjoy watching a head being crushed and an eyeball popping out. But that's just me.
As we
Yeah.
all.
So I love Ghost Machine. And so well, most of it. I don't like the creepy stuff, but I really like specifically the unnamed universe. They got all these new heroes they're trying to pull together. And on their official Instagram, they posted a picture of a screenplay for Redcoat. And so they were kind of flipping through, and that's an exciting thing. Like, are they already jumping into, and again, screenplay? Is that going to be animated? Is that going to be live action TV? Is that going to be a movie? Who knows? But they were flipping through those pages, and they're like, who are we going to cast for Simon Pure? Have you read any Redcoat at all?
No, I have not.
So Redcoat, it's a redcoat, a British soldier who steals during this weird ritual this immortality that's meant for Ben Franklin. He steals it, and he's like a scallywag, and he's always getting himself into trouble. The beginning of every comic says, "My name is Simon Pure, and I'm anything but you'll learn that eventually." And so he lives forever, and he looks just like Charlie Hunnam in every comic. And so I was like, definitely Charlie Hunnam. Like, that should definitely be who he is. Um, but no, it's one of the comics I would probably say it's definitely got some good waves and some bad waves, and I'm just kind of I'm in for the ride. And right now it's on a pretty good one. So it's interesting. It's interesting. He's also the only character so far that's like interacted with every other character in the unnamed universe because he exists throughout time. So we see him kind of popping up different places. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I mean, I would watch a Redcoat movie or a Redcoat animated series or a Redcoat live action series. I'm in.
Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like, and it's one of those concepts that I definitely would probably enjoy, but I didn't get on it when it started. And like at this point in time, comic shops aren't really pushing graphic novels hard. So unless you go looking for a graphic novel, it's not like there's just, you know, always around in bookstores.
Listen, you sweet taught me enough. I might send some media mail your way with like if you read code issues. You go ahead and take a peek, see what you think.
Fund the addiction.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's not really news at this point because I think all the nominations are out, but James Gunn revealed that he had sent in he fully put the entire Superman script out there to be considered for Academy Award for original screenplay. Um, yeah, I don't think it helped, but like while I loved Superman,
I did too. I did too.
I just don't see it based on the year of cinema we had in 2025. I don't see it being on the nominee list, but you know,
And two, unless you love Superman, so many people I don't even think gave it a chance. I was talking to my sister-in-law, and they're like, if Henry Cavill can't make me love Superman, I don't think I'm going for anybody else. Um, but I really enjoyed it. And my daughter's boyfriend made the terrible mistake of saying he thought it was a terrible movie. And I was like, oh, now we're gonna have a chat. Now let's talk about this for a little bit. But I enjoyed it. I really did. I
yeah,
love Superman.
yeah, and I don't see it being like I think there might be some visual stuff that's being nominated or considered, but yeah, there's definitely in a world where we've got Sinners and Weapons
Yes,
and
yes.
all these other movies. I was like, it ain't gonna be Superman out of all the stuff that we got. But yeah, so that's it for the news. When we come back the next time, we'll have some more news for you and keep you kind of updated on what's happening in the world of comics and all the neat things that are happening there. Because while comics may be a medium that repeats itself quite often, it's also something where fresh ideas happen on a pretty regular basis. So we're excited for that. So in just a minute, let's go ahead and jump into our polls. And this doesn't have to be necessarily from the last week or anything, but these are going to be for, because we're starting off 2026 with these. Um, so CJ, I'm going to let you start, man. Like, what's the first book that you recommend pulling for 2026.
So, um, speaking of Superman, I have really enjoyed the Absolute Superman series. And listen, I know I'm one of five people. I get it. But really enjoyed the Absolute Superman series. And the last issue that came out it's a transition going into a new story. I didn't really care as much for that one. But the last fight, or issue 14, his last fight with Ra's al Ghul, I really enjoyed. Really enjoyed. A lot of Christological references in there, kind of a Satan tempting, whatever. And he keeps telling Kal-El, like, just say you're my son. Say you're my son. Honor me, worship me, and I'm going to give you all these kingdoms. I'm going to give you all these things, and Superman doesn't do it. So, and he keeps fighting back, and there's a giant kryptonite sword. So, it was it was good. I really enjoyed that. I remember when the Absolute series started popping off, and we're getting all of them, and they've all kind of shifted off, except for Superman's one of the ones that I've held on to. I like Blue Collar Superman. I just do.
I like the blue collar Superman, and one of the things I've really enjoyed about Absolute Superman, first of all, Brainiac's my favorite part of it. That one Brainiac episode issue is
With all the bodies.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a masterpiece. That's a horror movie by itself. Like, that's like that one is a 10 out of 10 perfect comic book.
Yes.
I felt like there's just a lot going on, and visually it's hard for me to like comfortably enjoy. And the stuff with the peacemakers and it's just like there's so much here that feels rough. But like, listen, I'm excited you enjoy it. Uh,
Listen, if we were to stack up the number of things that CJ enjoys that no one else does, it's a big stack. It really is. And I've passed that along to my children, and they'll go out in public and like champion this movie that dad loves and I love, and everyone looks at it like that's a terrible movie. It's not a good one. So I like cheese. I really do. I'm in for it. But that one in particular, I'm reading this and I'm going, and I'm just feeling Jesus and Satan in the wilderness. Like I'm just feeling that reading this whole thing, and he's not going to submit. I'm not going to submit. I'm not going to follow you. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, or I'm going to die trying. So it was good. It was good.
all right, so for the people that are listening to this / watching this, uh, as quick as you comfortably can,
Yeah.
give us the summarized version of what this storyline has been. Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I've bought every issue of Absolute Superman. At some point, my eyes will glaze over about 2/3 of the way through the book, and I guarantee there are details I'm missing. I did enjoy the issue that you just referenced, and one of my biggest turnoff points, and it's not even a big thing, it's they draw Roz in this like they draw Vandal Savage in
Vandal
every other,
Savage. Yes. Yeah.
and it mentally throws me off because I
Yeah.
literally just read a DC book where Vandal looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
And like, but give us the elevator pitch on what's
Yeah.
Absolute Superman is.
Okay, so in this and Steve Valdez and I can't remember his buddy that they've got another LTN show. They were talking about the general feel of a lot of these Absolute series is like anti big corporation, and this is definitely kind of in that vein. The world is run, or at least the United States is run by peacemakers, Brainiac, and Ra's al Ghul. Like they're running things. And all kinds of places are suffering because of this over industrialization and terrible work conditions, including Kansas and the Kent Farm. Kent Farm is destroyed. And so Superman actually doesn't go by Superman. He hates that name in this series. He's going around to all these places where there's a large peacekeeper, Brainiac, Ra's al Ghul presence, and he's basically destroying those operations, freeing the people that are enslaved there. And so that's when he gets on their radar, and then they begin tracking him. And in this, you meet all the characters that you would typically see in a Superman story, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, all these characters you're seeing in different ways, but the whole time Brainiac, I think, wants to destroy Kal-El, but Ra's al Ghul wants to turn Kal-El to be part of his family, wants him to serve him, sees him as a huge asset. And so they're going through these things, and Kal-El's trying to find his place in the world. Typical story, Superman story. Can't find their place in the world. Can't find what he should be doing. And so his conscience or his guidance, it's not John Kent. It's his cape, which they call Soul,
Soul.
SOL, and it's this red nanite fabric, whatever else, that talks with him and encourages him and guides him and challenges him. So that's kind of like the vast majority of the first 10 issues, right? It's just him trying to find his place and not wanting to be this messiah figure, but still wanting to help those that are in trouble. And in the last 4 issues or so, it's come to a head with Ra's al Ghul, and Ra's al Ghul is punishing people all around Kal-El, trying to get him to say, "Well, if you will serve me, I'll stop punishing these people." And of course, Kal doesn't do it, and I really enjoy the raw power that we see with an angry Superman, not a bitter Superman, right? But just a I am upset with the way that this world is, and he's got this youthful, I'm going to fix this problem with a closed fist, and so I like that. Superman so often, the Boy Scout is seen as this very chill, stoic, I'll come in and fix this, but it doesn't look like he breaks a sweat. Whereas in this, he is fighting for his life and the lives of everybody around him. So that's kind of it. The first 14 issues, new storyline starts in 15, and it's just funny because he's going back and forth between trying to fix the tractor in Kansas and solve the world's problems at the same time. And they're like, you need to rest. Like, you need to take a break. Like, you need to take care of yourself. And he's like, but people are upset. So he's going all over the place trying to fix problems. But the youthful, I want to do it. I want to fix it. This world is broken. What can I do to make it better? Just draws me in. So I really like that.
Okay. And for y'all watching / listening, and that's a really good summary, by the way. I honestly understand the book better now because he did that.
Well, I also cut out a lot of the Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane stuff, which is super confusing. But that's
I was about to say
yeah.
Lois is a confusing aspect in that storyline to me.
Yeah.
So for the record, and how we're doing this right now, CJI and I don't know each other's books.
We
So
don't.
we could lay down like the same book and it'll be a surprise for both of us. So since you're on the Absolute Superman level, I'm going to come over to Absolute Wonder Woman,
Nice.
uh, number 15. Have you read this?
I haven't. No. So Batman and Wonder Woman was one that I was spending way too much money on comics, and I was like, I love both of these, but I've got to drop them. So tell me what's going on.
Okay, so I asked my comic shop to take Superman off, and they conveniently forgot. And so
Of
by the
course.
next month I show up, why are there 3 more Superman issues in here? They're like, oh, I guess we didn't hit the buttons in time. Too bad. You should buy them. Um, so that we don't go broke and shut down. I'm like, oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
So this one is one I feel like the first 6 issues of Absolute Wonder Woman were top tier. The run that just took place, um, I thought was off, and I wasn't the biggest fan of. But we're heading in a new direction. We're starting a whole new run. And one of the things is that Wonder Woman has to go into Gotham to look for somebody. And so she respectfully makes a magic bat signal in the sky, just out of pure magic, and throws that up for Batman to find her. And so he's just like, "Hi." And he's like, "Did you make that out of magic? Cool, let's talk." Um, so they sit on a roof and have a conversation for like 10 pages. And then they go on a hunt for someone who's performing ritualistic, maybe murders, and framing like Circe for it. And so they team together to fight or to try and find this, and they end up at a point where Absolute Wonder Woman gets mind controlled by what they're hunting, and so she starts hunting Batman.
Mm.
And it's only because of a little bit of a relationship that they had built in one issue that he was able to like make sure she didn't die. But like this is probably the most cohesive I've seen of storytelling between the two world between any of the because these absolute books have felt so isolated in their pockets.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, even like the Hawkman thing that you'll see in the 15 of Superman was just like, okay, I see you're there, but this doesn't feel organic yet. By the end of this issue, she's like, by the way, have you talked to Superman yet? You should do that. Y'all should have a conversation. And she's like, we're going to need everybody if we're going to save the world.
Mm.
So they start laying down the foundation for an absolute Justice League by the end of this. But just there's a there's always been a really good dynamic in comics when it came to Wonder Woman and Batman if it's done right. Um, and this is probably one of the most organic feeling ones I've seen for that. So this was a solid one. I'd say out of the 15 issues of Wonder Woman, 8 to 9 of them have been like good, like solid stamp of approval. And this one really tracks. This is going to continue in its own right into the next Absolute Batman, where she shows up in his book too. Um, And so, and I don't know, I felt like maybe Batman was a little more cohesive in this one and understandable because it was the Wonder Woman people writing him. Uh, so
Yeah.
we'll see how this plays out under the Batman label ahead. But this one was an actually enjoyable issue. I had a lot of fun with that one. So
Nice. The last absolute Batman I read was the one with Freeze, like that story with Freeze, and then I was like, okay, I think I need to. That one didn't grab me. Then maybe it's because it's creepy. I don't like creepy stuff. I'm a weenie about that stuff. I really am. But
so did you make it to Bane yet in that series?
I'm trying to remember, I feel like I saw Bane. Maybe I did. Maybe I did read that one.
But short version, they end up in a place like some Argus level facility where they're altering Bane biologically, and they kidnap Bruce and augment him biologically, make
Mm,
him and make them fight to the death. And Bruce escapes, uh, and because he escapes, Bane goes around and mutilates every one of his friends. So Bane becomes the origin story for all of the villains. So like for Penguin, he crushes his feet and squishes his body up so that he's like just you know not going to be able to walk straight. And he rips Riddler's skull open and does all these things to him so that like he's like disabled forever and has like brain stuff. It's like so Bane. They went real aggressive, and then you get into Catwoman, um, and then whatever the last thing was, Bane gets utterly squished down to like some brain matter and eyes, and then they build him back up. I'm just like,
okay.
it's bad sci-fi,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, but it's moderately entertaining. But
Okay.
it's like you remember like the Max, like the purple dude with the yellow gloves that was on
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
MTV.
yeah, yeah.
It feels like as confusing as that was as a middle schooler to me, watching the Max on MTV when I shouldn't have. Um, that's what it feels like reading Absolute Batman now. Feels like so. All right, what's your second pull?
You said Batman. I'm gonna pull Batman as well. So my comic store is like 45 minutes away, so rarely do I get in. So rarely do I get to add new pulls. Like it just doesn't happen that often. And so when I went in, they had the All In Batman issue number 1, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. So I'll pick that up. I haven't read any of those. And they had number 5. So I've got number 1 and I've got number 5. And so this is All In Batman. And it's just a Batman story, but like every time he has any kind of gadget, it has a little like drop down, like this is what he's using, and I don't know why, but I really enjoy that. Like it just is like he's using this gadget.
Is this
But
the
in this
date
one,
issue?
I'm sorry.
Is this the date issue?
Yes, it's
Okay,
the
yeah.
date issue. Um, and or but is it a date? Is it not a date? I can't remember. That was the will they won't they or whatever else. But yes, and he's driving around and bashing up people, and he's Bruce Wayne in the whole in the whole issue. Bruce Wayne in the whole issue. Um, But I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. And I'm excited to see kind of where it goes. I think I need to get back into my shop so I can go ahead and say I don't want to miss the next one to see what's going on. But at the very end, Damien shows up and calls him dad, and it ruins the whole thing. And she's like, "Dad, you're his dad," which is exactly what you want on a first date for the girl you want to date with to find out you've got some other kid that's
It's
a
better than
crybaby.
Alfred letting her in the Batcave.
This is true. Way to go, Alfred. Well, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing.
So, did you miss issues 2, 3, and 4?
I did. No idea what's going on. I was
Okay.
like, oh, yeah, fill me in.
So, uh, this is a solid book, and I would recommend getting those issues.
Okay.
Backtrack to get those because you meet this doctor in the first issue, which,
Right.
so at least
Which I
you have
thought
that.
the way they did Croc in the first issue, I'm like, this is kind of weird looking, but I was all for it.
So, and I think I mentioned this on the last pull list with Todd, but the first issue of Matt Fraction's Batman redid the first issue of Hush
Mm,
because the first issue of Hush was Batman chasing down a mutated Killer Croc. And then the first issue of Matt Fraction's Batman is him chasing down a mutated Killer Croc. So I was
mm,
just like, that's fun. Uh, you get that, but then basically in the second issue, uh, Tim and Bruce are having some moments, washing the car, etc., or whatever. And then Tim goes out to help some people and ends up on the wrong side of a trigger happy, potentially corrupt police officer. And so the police officer is trying to arrest Tim, and then Tim resists, and a cop is going to shoot Tim. So the cop shoots the other cop accidentally or whatever else, and then it gets caught on video. And so there's a whole thing of like police brutality, and it's on video, and Batman's assisting, and there's a whole vibe going on there. And then you get into the Riddler with some of this stuff in the last one. But it's good. I would say this is a solid Batman book.
all right. Good.
It's something definitely worth checking out.
Was it a short story in the Batman Deadpool where one of the Robins was being held up and he's like, who do we know in the police force? Like, do we have any friends left in the police force? And or is that in this one? I'm trying to remember now. There was a Batman I read recently where Robin was being held up at gunpoint by police officers, and he was like, "Who do we know that's still in on the force?" And Batman's like, "Nobody. We got no friends."
That might be this.
It might be this. Okay, I wonder if it's issue one. Maybe it's issue one, and yeah, that would make sense. I can't remember. I read like 5 Batman comics this week, so they're all blurring together.
Okay. Well, for my next one, I don't have it hold up because I actually loaned it out to somebody already. Um, what One World Under Doom, number
Okay,
9, which is the final one in the series. Did you see any of that or read any of that?
I read the first one. Read the first one and didn't get back to put it on my pull list, so it passed me by.
Effectively, Doom takes over the world,
Yes.
and everybody's cool with it. They expose him for being a villain on national TV, and the majority of the world's, yeah, but he's not that bad.
Never heard that
Uh,
before.
right.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point. And then it boils down to uh his niece or goddaughter, the Fantastic Four's kid,
Yep.
um tries to convince him to
Valera?
Valeria.
Valeria?
There you go. Yeah. Valeria tries to convince him to like lay down arms, and he won't, and all this stuff happens, and Valeria gets mortally wounded.
Mm,
And so Doom, by the end of it, plays every card he can by threatening every celestial being in existence, like face to face. Keep her alive or face the wrath of Doom and all these things.
mm,
And so effectively Doom trades his life for Valeria's. And so he's having conversations with Reed and everything else by the end of it, and he's just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna die any minute now. Um, do these things," and he's bossing Reed around and all these things. And straight up, Doom sacrifices his life to keep Valeria alive. But there's like an inscription and a maybe a curse, maybe some instructions, or all these things written on the inside of Doom's mask.
Hmm.
So it's going to be like a mantle that's going to pass down. But Doom had control of the world and relinquished the world to save his one child.
Hmm.
And then it's going to be like the fallout of Valeria looking at the inscription of the inside of this mask. And for me personally, and I've not picked up the current run, and I think the current run's on like 6 or 7, but I've not picked up the current Fantastic Four run. But One World Under Doom was the best Doom Fantastic Four and one of the best Marvel books to me
Hmm.
in a long time. Uh, and because it's just 9 issues, it was nice to be able to pick that up. And you didn't have to read the Fantastic Four books along with it. I would highly recommend it as a trade,
Yeah.
just because you get to see some of Marvel at its best. It is definitely social commentary, um, but it's also just good Marvel storytelling. And there aren't that many times I feel really confident that Marvel can just tell a straight good story without bleeding it dry.
Hmm.
And this was like just a good storytelling. I think Doom's such a great character, and especially leading up to Avengers Doomsday, I think we need good Doom books
Yeah.
because realistically, once Doomsday drops, you're gonna have people trying to grab the most recent Doom book or something like that, and this would be a really good one for them to jump in on if they're not familiar with Doom. I wanted to check it out. This would be a good Doom story to
Yeah.
start with.
I'm sure they are leading, like, just planning all the way there. And when this movie drops, yeah. But no, this is a good trade to pick up. I do like picking. I prefer picking up trades because otherwise I run ragged trying to find that one that I missed, and it gets me real frustrated. I like a nice self-contained story. I do.
After like, not only is it the finding the ones that I miss, for me, I'm not that organized. And quite often I'll catch myself trying to like, because right now, for instance, I've got my pulls on my desk. There's a box under me of completed stories and then stuff that I'm currently reading. There's a few boxes stacked in a room over there of stuff that I've read that I'm not getting rid of. And then there's a whole shelf in my garage of stuff I don't care about. Uh, and so when it comes to like, you know what, let me go ahead and put this whole series together now that it's over. I'm always missing one. Like right now, Avengers Twilight, I'm missing issue 4. I was gonna sell the whole series. Can't find number 4, and it's worthless. So it's just like I'm bad at keeping these things together. Um, Before the pandemic, I had basically gone down to like just buying digital comics.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, I gotta support my local shops. And now I've actually built better relationships. And I'm like,
Yeah.
ah, crap. Okay. But yeah. So what's your other book? Next book.
So you're talking about list moving or losing things. I remember I had to go buy the trade for The Seasons Have Teeth because I couldn't find my issue 1 anywhere. And over Christmas break, I was cleaning out my wife's bedside table, and must have given it to her to check it out, and she just tossed it in there, and it's been there for who knows how long. I was like, there it is. I do have them all. I got it all, so I put it where it's supposed to go. My next one, I have really enjoyed the new Ninja Turtles run. There's like one issue that I was like, this one is kind of boring, but I have
What issue
enjoyed
is
it.
that?
This is number 13.
So is this the same run where like Mikey was a movie star and then
Yes,
okay,
yes.
go ahead.
So I did. I enjoyed the setup, seeing each one of them. Probably the most gut wrenching moment in the series so far for me. Donnie kept talking to this dead rat on his shoulder, and he's
That's
like,
when I got out.
"No, dude, you got to listen." So he's talking to this dead rat on his shoulder, and he keeps calling it father, keeps calling it master. And the brothers are telling him, like, we hear you crying every night. You've got to stop doing that. You got to stop crying every night. Like be a man, like, whatever. And then they go to find Donnie because he's crying and he's not there. And they realize that it's the dead rat is crying. And it was the spirit of Splinter in the dead rat he was talking to. And so the other 3 brothers, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, get around this rat and they go, Father, your sons are here listening. Teach us. And so then they have to go and rescue Donnie. That's like 6 issues ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, as a father and children and all this, it was just like, it was good. So in this one, they just wrapped up a story probably 2 issues ago. And so they're doing, the next story, whatever. And it starts with a meeting between 2 gangsters and this weird pig creature shows up out of nowhere. Uh, the the Ujigami shows up. It's this weird warthog Asian pig creature thing, and it attacks them. These gangsters. Um, and then as the issue keeps progressing, you see this rat, and he keeps making comments about his sons. I'm afraid of my sons. I'm afraid for my sons. All these things. And so, like, Splinter has come back, and at the very end of the issue, the Splinter is the Ujigami. Like, he's possessed by this weird pig spirit that turns him into this giant killer. And so they have to go and save Splinter. And I'm like, I'm in. I want to see what happens next. So there's Ujigami, and then there's also this other creature. I can't remember what his name was, but he was like this warthog, not warthog. He was like a, oh, I can't remember what animal he was. He's a big gray animal, maybe a like a water buffalo kind of whatever. And he keeps telling the turtles that he's their biggest fan. And then they find out that he's like leading this gang. And he's like, I really am your fan. I just don't care if you die. So, but yeah, so Splinter's back. Splinter's alive. All is well in the world. He's possessed by some weird Ujigami pig spirit, but he's alive.
Yeah, I was up until like the first four issues, but then when we got to the dead rat thing, I'm like, I'm out. Like, I don't even know if I finished the issue. Like,
Listen, I'm with you. It was super weird. But I was like, let's just keep seeing. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to go. But yeah, when Leonardo had his brothers around him, he said, "Your sons are here and we're ready. Teach us." I was like, "Yeah, let's do this. Let's go." But yeah, so that one's still on my list, and I'll still keep getting it because I've really enjoyed it. I got a few of the more recent runs that they've got in trades on my Amazon list. Like, okay, I might want to pick these up here because I've enjoyed this one.
nice. For me, I mean, it's even with the trades, it really just depends on when the writers change because that makes, like, I hate being at the point where I want to take Nightwing off my list. Like, I'm really waiting for a writer's shift to happen because I felt like we had like 50, 90 issues of great, and then I'm just like, I'm dying. I don't want to read this anymore.
Uh,
All right, so for me, Cheetah and Cheshire robbed the Justice League.
okay.
Have you read any of this?
No.
This is a villains Ocean 11.
Okay.
And it's written by Greg Rucka, who is one of my all-time favorite DC writers. This is the guy who gave us the female question, like with Renee Montoya. He wrote some of
Yep.
Renee Montoya's best work.
Okay.
Um, but Greg Rucka did, I want to say he did Batman Fugitive. He did a lot of the like crimey, heisty stuff. Rucka,
Yeah.
that's Rucka's gold.
Okay.
Um, and so this book picks up that basically Cheetah and Cheshire put together a mob to rob the Justice League Watchtower while they're all on it.
Mm.
So there's like five issues of setup, one issue of robbing, and then one issue of like epilogue. Um, but they put together a team that consists of Cheetah and the Wonder Woman villain. Are you familiar with Cheshire?
No, and I'm trying to my face is because I'm remembering watching. I'm going back there and watching the old animated Justice League series, and I think I remember there being a heist in that one too. And I was trying to remember who the characters were that were trying to get onto the Watchtower while the Justice League was there. I can't remember who it was,
There,
but
there,
anyways,
there
no.
was one of those too. If you want a good representation of Cheshire, if you've not done it yet, watch Young Justice.
Okay.
She's a prime character on Young Justice. Um, but she is Roy Harper, like Red
Mm-hmm.
Arrow.
Yep.
It's
Slash
her,
Arsenal.
yeah, Arsenal. It's Arsenal's ex, and they have a
Okay.
kid together.
Why not?
Yeah, and so you've got a hero villain kid custody issue.
Okay.
So you've got a kid who's has a Justice League Watchtower card because her dad's in the league, but her mom's also in the a villain, so it's a whole thing. Um, then everybody else in the team are basically people you've never heard of before or original characters, except for Clary and the Witch Boy.
Okay.
So if you've ever watched like Justice League Unlimited or some of the Batman, I don't know if it was Batman, but it's definitely the Justice League series. There's a little witch boy named Clarion who has a cat named Teakle. Uh, And so it's this group of them, and it is just good heist stuff of them planning, of them putting it together. And it's a smooth whodunit. Renee Montoya, the question, which is again Rucka's baby, plays a good role in it. Um, but like, there's lots of little plot twists and turns and everything. But this was just the final issue of it, and they just played it off well. And this came across like if you watched Ocean's 11 and thought that was suave. I enjoyed how that went down. And you like the Justice League, this is going to be that. It's a quick little 6 issue book. It's in and out and done before it ever has a chance to drag. You get good character moments. There's a lot of plot twists and Rick rolls. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff to it. You barely see the Justice League, but you see a lot of the villain interactions. I don't know. This was just a solid, fun book for me.
Okay.
I could read a 6 issue book that doesn't drag any day of the week and be happy
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Um, but I also like heist books and stuff like this. This was fun. So, what else you got?
Nice. Last one, I'm ending on a low note. I only enjoyed this for the nostalgia factor. But but it really hit home in that area. But it is not a good story. So if you love this content I'm about to share, pick it up just for the funsies. But it is definitely not a story that was super engaging. And this is a new number one, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Zord Quest. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Zord Quest. Um, the it's the original with Tommy the Green Ranger. His Dragon Zord flute is my text message sound, which I usually have to leave turned off because it drives everyone crazy. But they're going up against some villain that Lord Zed has put out there, and he and Jason get into a argument over how they're going to defeat the villain. And Tommy's is a much more nuanced, gentle solution, and Jason's like, "No, we're going to destroy this thing." And when he does that, the Zords revolt, and they shut down and disassemble because Jason has proven that he is not worthy as leader to lead them, and the Zords end up returning to their homes, which is really funny. They're all in North America except Billy's. Billy's is in the Gobi Desert. The rest of them are all in or North America. And maybe there's one that's like in Mexico. I guess it's still North America. Yeah. Um, but so they all get sent to their where the Zords come from. If you ever watched the old TV show where they all come out of the volcano, whenever else they go there, and so each one of them then has to prove that they are worthy of having the Zord again by going through some trial. And then while that's going on, Tommy's having to learn to be a leader. And it's this whole thing where he's not sure he should be the leader. Jason should be the leader. He was the leader before. So it's like early on in Tommy's whatever. If you're looking for compelling story, it's not here. If you're looking for just a fun popcorn read because you watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when you were a kid like I did, and made your own Zord that you were going to be when you were a teenager and all those things, pick it up because it was fun for that. Like I want my boys to read it because they love Power Rangers. And this is all just Power Rangers. This is cotton candy. This is definitely not meat and potatoes. This is cotton candy. But yeah, I won't spoil what the different trials are. So you have to buy the issue so you can enjoy that. I will spoil one. I'll spoil one trial, and that's Billy's. Billy's trial is he has to wait for the rest of them to finish. That's his trial. And that's all he has to do is wait. I don't know if they ran out of pages and they're like, I don't know what to do with Billy. So we'll just say that he had to be patient. I don't know. The rest of them have actual trials they have to do. But yeah, so there we go. Zord Quest, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, number one. That's my last one. My new number one for you to pick up.
Before I pull my last one, did you have one for like spiritual content or anything?
So ish, I do. I've
Is
got
it
it. It's not a new one, but it's one I got for Christmas that I was just gonna throw out there. It's
okay?
an obvious one.
That's fine. Well, I just before, but as depending how I was sorting things. All right. In that case, I'm gonna do DCKO number 3.
Nice.
You reading these?
No, I'm looking at it, but it's one of those things like if I buy one, I have to buy them all, and so it's like I don't know that I want to, but yeah.
So, these haven't been top tier for me, and a lot of the spin-offs that I've read. I've read the Night Fights. I've done several. I did like Harley Quinn versus Zatanna, Wonder Woman versus Lobo, Lex Luthor versus Etrigan. Um, and while some of those had moments, this is the first one that I just enjoyed in a while. But it literally is just um it's just pitting different DC characters to fight for various reasons. This one is cool and it gets my vote because we get a new Superman iteration in this one.
Okay.
Because they end up on a trial where they can partner together with one other hero or villain. So Wonder Woman partners with Big Barda, which is a whole party in itself.
Right.
Um, some of the Lanterns partner together. Connor Hawk, which is Green Arrow's son, and Cyborg partner together. None of that's really special, but Shazam and Superman partner together, and it goes about like what you'd think for a Shazam Superman partnership. But then when the chips are down, he's like, "Do it, Billy," and uh, Billy incorporates Superman into the Shazam League.
Okay.
So you get magic Shazam Superman. So you get Superman with full magic powers.
Wow.
So
Yes,
you
please. Want that in the
you
Funko Pop.
yeah, right. It probably will be at some point in time.
Yeah.
Um, but so you get Superman with like lightning gauntlets, and he gains all of Shazam's powers, and just starts to like clean house on the tournament. And so that's the really cool part of it. Um, and so that's like the moment, but then where the issue ends with the fact that now they're all going to have to face the absolute versions.
Nice.
So that's a nice little that's so DCKO4 will be them versus the absolute versions and probably some other versions. There was a book just like this. Let's say, gosh, I've been reading comics a while, but let's say 15 years ago. There's a book called Countdown. Um, it was initially started as Countdown to Infinite Crisis. Um, but then they did these books called Countdown Arena, which was the exact same premises. They're throwing multiverse versions and they're having to battle for existence. And
Okay.
this is nothing really new to this. But if you like nice little battle books, it was fun. But this makes my list solely for the fact we got Shazam Superman, and that was cool.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
That'll do it.
Um, my the last mashup like that I remember getting really excited about was Nightcrawler's Spider-Man. That was one that I was like,
I
yes,
just
this
bought
is
the
fun.
action figure of that last week.
Listen, I saw that. I was like, where is this? I need this. I need this so bad.
It's right up there on my shelf right now.
Yep. Nice. Very nice. Um, cool. So spiritual content. I mentioned right that we're shifting next.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. So I mentioned the Superman book, but I also for I think it's my birthday, my wife got me Kingdom Come. Never read Kingdom Come before.
Okay.
30 years old this year. And so yeah, I mean that was kind of felt like a no-brainer on spiritual content, having a pastor tour behind the scenes against all these superheroes and shout Bible verses and encourage grace and mercy and all those things. So I read that this week. I finished it this week. I had like it's broken down into like four larger issues, right? Or four trades. And I had gotten half of it done. I was like, let me crank this out and finish. I got several nice trades and omnibuses for Christmas that I'm now like, here we go. I'll read through these. So yeah, so I never read it before. I remember I posted all the ones I got. And Radio Matt and Todd and someone else, but maybe it was you popped in and was like, Kingdom Come, start there. Do that one first.
Yeah.
So it did not disappoint. The art style was a little jarring.
'Cause that's
for
Alex
me.
Ross art, right?
Yep. That was the only thing for me. It was I'm trying to look and figure out, and it just felt different than I'm used to. But I enjoyed the story. And two, I knew enough about the characters to go, oh, this is what's happening here. I got it.
But
And Shazam and Superman played a big role in that one too.
that version of Superman has appeared in so many stories since, like, he'll show up. That specific Kingdom Come, they did a follow-up series like 20 years later, maybe 15 years later, called The Kingdom, where Magog came back and like wanted to be part of the Justice League, and all these other weird things happened. And um, there was a JSA book, and Magog and the Superman from Kingdom Come was leading the JSA.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, it's Kingdom Come is gold. It just really is. And there's a follow-up book in terms of art and vibe called uh Absolute Justice. Or no, Justice. Absolute's just the book itself, is the Absolute edition. There's a book that Alex Ross did called Justice. It's almost the successor to Kingdom Come,
Okay.
but in terms of the art, maybe not as much as the story vibe, but the book is effectively, what if the villains did more for the world than the heroes? And the villains all get together one day and say, "Hey, let's solve all the world's problems and show the heroes how sucky they are." So in one day, like, Captain Cold fixes every drought in the world, just puts out water. Poison ivy grows enough plants to be able to feed every hungry person on the planet, and all these things. They're like, why have y'all just been beating up criminals? It took us 30 minutes and we fixed the world.
We're having to
And,
save them from you. We're having to deal with your garbage.
but yeah, the Kingdom Come absolutely is gold. And for spiritual content, by the way, uh, it's in one of my books, but I know it's also online. But Radio Matt did a Kingdom Come devotional.
Yes. So I had gotten mixed up with another trade that I read, and then I read that devotion. I was going, that's not the one I just read. That doesn't fit. And so that's when I added that one to my list after reading his devotion. I was like, all right, add this one to the list. Yes, please. Um, I have not finished the Apocrypha in the back of Kingdom Come, which is
Oh,
like a whole third of the book. And so I've not read those, which are all articles and extra art and things like that. Because I was like, I need to read through my
well,
pulls.
you're a
So that
Protestant pastor. You wouldn't read the Apocrypha anyway.
listen, I won't say it. I almost said something I shouldn't say, but I've got other books that are not deuterocanonical books that are over here that I could pull and read that I'm like, yeah, let's just read. Let's see what's up. Um, yeah.
Being careful what you say on the internet.
Listen, you better believe it. That'll be my biggest challenge is not saying the first thing that comes to my mind. So,
So for me, this one was, I would, if we were doing the spiritual thing, this was going to be the spiritual. If not, this would have taken DCKO's place in my polls.
okay. Yeah.
This is X-Men number 22. This is, I don't know why, but there was like a long break between issue 21 and 22. Um,
Because they were releasing them every 3.5 days for a while there. Like I would leave, I come back to get my pulls, and I had like 14 X-Men books. I'm like, golly, okay, all right.
I only read the main one that Gail Simone does because I love Gail Simone. So, but effectively in this one, Nightcrawler's on a date, and with a young woman he's been talking to for the past few issues. And like, I got reprimanded for being spicy on the internet by posting one picture. And so they're on this date and they're about to say goodnight. You know, he's like, "Should I walk you home?" And I'm gonna zoom in so you can see this. And I posted this online as well. But she just leans in. She says, "I want you to bamf me," which as an X-Men person, you know what that means.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yeah.
but I just posted that on my story and on Instagram, and people are like, "Excuse me, sir, sir, like, what does that mean?" And they're like, I'm like, "You're not a nerd. This isn't for you." Um, but like, it's just a cute little thing, and then it turns into it's Nightcrawler's surprise birthday party, which is a whole thing. But a X-Men villain who I think was introduced in these books shows up, and she wants to become an X-Man to fix her PR problems,
Nice.
because she's a racist, and she thinks if she could prove that she doesn't hate mutants, then she can, get uncanceled. And so she fights Wolverine, and almost, I'd say almost wins. Like maybe comes to a draw with Wolverine, but then she like crashes Nightcrawler's birthday party and threatens to kill Nightcrawler's date unless she gets a trial for the X-Men. So Nightcrawler and her have a sword fight, but they have all these god conversations in the process of she said he calls her by her government name and she says, "You call me by my name." Uh she's, "Or I'll kill her, I swear to God." He's like, "Yes, God indeed." God watch he just like goes into full pastor mode, like God's watching over you and God loves you. And he's like, now I know Gail Simone's not like a believer, and I know this isn't her cup of tea, and she doesn't like water him down completely, but it's nice to see these things in here. Um, but like they come to their big sword fights, climax points, and he saves her when she doesn't have to, and opens up for a conversation. And he goes to tell her, he says, "Letitia, I believe in salvation." And they just like having this little face to face conversation. He says, "You will never be an X-Man, but there is a path." And she responds with, "Save it, Pastor. I've been there. It didn't take." And they have this like literally, he just had this woman just had a knife to your girlfriend's throat like 12 panels ago, and you're gonna like offer her grace and redemption and actually try and like lead her to a place of like redemption or repentance, like with by the end of the issue. And I just thought that was like, that's Nightcrawler. That's,
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
the fact that we still get that even in areas where it wouldn't necessarily be expected. So I just thought that was good. That was
That is
encouraging.
cool. That is cool. I speaking of X-Men, I've been looking at the Inglorious X-Force with Helverine and Cable, and I'm like,
I almost picked it up, but I said no. Like,
hmm.
this is gonna be another X book that I pick up and don't. But listen, on that same note, you know what's sitting in my box right now? Psylocke Ninja #1, Rogue #1. Now, Rogue #1 is because Rogue is leading this team of X-Men that I'm reading.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but that's in there.
For a while, I had X-Men and Uncanny X-Men, so Rogue and Cyclops' team, because there was a lot of wibbly wobbly intersecting, whatever. But again, like they released an issue every day and a half, and I was like, I cannot keep up with this. I can't do it.
No, that's I said from the beginning. As soon as I saw who was writing, I was like, I'm gonna read this as long as Gail's writing, and then I'm out.
Yeah, that
Because
works.
if you've never read it, Gail wrote not the stuff that just came out in 2024 or five, but that she wrote a book called Secret Six. That was her book. And it was basically a villain A team that she wrote, and to enough that she's got two omnibuses of it full. And I love Gail's writing. She does good stuff. She was great with Deadpool actually and Domino. Um, she did a Plastic Man book too, but it was a bit weird, but whatever. Um, all that being said, yeah, I enjoyed this content. Um, so is there anything that you've been reading that you're just like you're deciding also you're letting go of?
So I took a hatchet to my pull list probably like 2 months ago. And so there was a lot that kind of fell there. And so I need to have more fluff in it before I drop something. I'll say I will probably not pick up the second issue of Zord Quest. I probably won't do that. Like that one will definitely not make it into my pull list. Um, Absolute Green Lantern is one that I'm like, I really want to enjoy this, but it's really weird. There was a gold dude in the last issue, and it's gotten really weird. Like it was weird to begin with. It was weird to begin with. But that one probably is probably gonna get the axe. I don't know that it's holding me like others, but I don't have a whole lot on my pull list right now. It's to my wife. It's super sad. I used to go in and I'd be like 40 issues for me to bring home, and now it's much less because I'm a teacher. I work at a middle school, and I can only excuse so much of my tutor money going to comics. But yes, I would say Green Lantern is real close. If the next issue is not amazing, that one's definitely gonna get it.
I feel like Nightwing for me, if like I feel like they're about to end the storyline, that might be the issue that came out this week might have ended it. If there's not a new writer on Nightwing soon, I'm
That's it.
out. Yeah, I'm out. Because it was so good with Tom Taylor, and now I'm just sad. Um, yeah, so that's it. My bagged and board for those. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for taking the time to listen or watch. Make sure that you check out the poll recommendations. We'd love to hear what you're reading as well. So make sure you share that with us. You can leave some comments over at the on our Discord for people to check. That I promise I'll get there at some point. I had to reinstall Discord to talk to Radio Matt. Um, but yeah, check that out for us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all those things, and give us cool ratings because we don't get paid, and so ratings count.
They're paying
But
me. They're not paying you. I'm no. Okay, cool.
what? But thank you for taking time to listen and do all these things. Remember, you can check us out on the Glue Network. You can check us out on our YouTube channel and find all the links to that below. But yeah, CJ, thank you for joining us on your first episode. Yeah, you'll be hearing a lot more from CJ. But we're gonna say the closing line. Ready for the closing line?
I'm ready.
All right. Remember, kids,
read more comics.
Bye.
I'm gonna take all 7 continents as a game of risk.